Hello everyone, welcome to May We Talk Show. This is May from Superstar TV 888. Today is a Friday again, and I'm glad to have a conversation and an interview with a famous Hollywood director, Anthony LaMolinara. How are you?
Hello. Hello. Hi.
Hi. So you have been directing so many movies and produce many movies, and also you win the Oscar award for Spider-Man special effect. I want you to share some experience with us about your movie. Can you give a little bit introduction of yourself?
I was interested in cinema when I was very young, and I worked, made money, and bought camera equipment when I was a boy, and just started making films without really knowing anything.
Mm.
Around when I was 8 years old, things like that. And so as time went on, I tried to learn this, tried to learn that on my own. But then, in university, I studied things, and then I went out to Los Angeles.
Okay.
And from there, you just start trying to know people and work here and work there and try to understand who you can work with and how you could get work and what you actually want to do. Because at one point I thought of working or having a career as a cinematographer, but then I became more interested in directing.
Okay. So what is your unforgettable experience during your movie production, being a photographer?
When people think of something that is un, unforgettable or something, usually it's a big accident, or somebody got killed or somebody got hurt or somebody's hair was on fire. But in the end, probably the most rare thing is when a shot goes perfectly. So that everything that happens is good. The lighting is good. The camera work was good. The acting was perfect. Everybody was in the right place, because it's usually a little bit off from where you wanted it to be. And that's just the way things go. But it's also it's rare when it all comes together. So when it does, it's really a memorable experience. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you also worked in China before and worked with the China production team. How do you think of the China film market, and what is your stories working with the China production movies?
I was in China for about 10 years, and I started in 2011, and um, it was going in one direction, and
Yeah.
now it's going in another direction. And
Hmm.
I can't really say what that direction is, because it's not defined. And you give a script, and it may be accepted, it may be rejected, and then you may have to give that script again, and it might be accepted 3 times and then rejected the 4th time.
Mm.
And I still don't know why anything was ever rejected or accepted. That's their business. If they're, it's their country.
Hmm. Okay. You also participate in the Spider-Man. Can you share some stories for that movie?
Sure. I worked on Spider-Man 1,
Mm.
and they kept the crew together for Spider-Man 2. It was an experience where there was plenty of money, although it may never seem like it's enough, but there was a great budget on that, I think around 300 million. And so it's a lot easier to try to get your work as perfect as possible with those kinds of budgets. We did some new things, and I certainly tried to work as hard as I could to make the work as good as possible. And everyone was doing their best to do a great job. We kind of already understood what needed to be done, and then some new um, technology was developed for it, and it was a good experience. It was one of the better filmmaking experiences I've had.
Is this one of the works that you're proud of most, right?
Sure, I like that. Do a lot of different things. I mean, one reason I work on in films, I believe, is to bring different talents together because I'm an artist, I'm a painter, I
Right.
understand light very well, I'm a cinematographer, I work in visual effects, I understand light and I write, and I'm also an animator.
Mm,
And uh, Toy Story, I worked on the first Toy Story. That was the first computer generated animated feature film in history.
mm,
And, you know, a lot of people have limitations and they like to place those limitations on others.
right.
And they say, well, you can't work in live action and animation, but that's not true. I mean, look at Tim Burton and Guillermo del Toro, Brad Bird, Gore Verbinski. If you don't know who that is, he did Pirates of the Caribbean, but he also won an Oscar for Rango.
Yeah.
And those are all people that go back and forth between animation and live action. So in the end, it's cinema. It's putting an image on the screen, using voices or music, camera moves to tell a story, and that's it's cinema, whether it's animation or live action.
I know you switched the role from a photographer and then special effect director, and then being as a director and producer of your film. What is the key you think it's the most important to be successful?
Everybody's there to do a job. You try to get the best crew and the best actors and put it together the best way you can. Keep it organized as much as possible. Make your plan. Try to follow that plan until you need to improvise. And you hope the public likes it because I have you ever heard of a novelist and a screenwriter named William Goldman? I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Mm.
He wrote a book called Nobody Knows Anything. And it's true, they don't. And the worst part I see is marketing, because marketing tells everybody, oh, we have big data, and our big data tells us this will be successful. And that's just not true. That's just absolutely not true. They don't know. Nobody knows. How could Star Wars fail? But this last one has. And anything could be successful, even if I say it and I may not like it. And you may have the best crew, the best director, best writer, and it still fails. And you don't always know exactly why. And that's part of a little bit of the magic of movie making. You put things together, and you know you can have a good film, but it may not be a great film because it's timing. There are many films that if they were released today, they wouldn't be successful, or certainly not as successful as they were at the time. Some films hold up well, meaning they still play well. When you look at some old films, now again, they're still good. They play like great films, but some don't, and so which means that it was about timing. It was the time in history when it was made. Um, so you do the best you can and see what happens. And marketing, those people don't get penalized, or we could use the word punished, but I don't care for that. Is they don't get penalized for being wrong. In other words, if they tell you you need to make this movie because it will be successful, and then they're wrong, they don't get fired, but they should get fired because then they put it on the director or the actors or the producer and say, "Oh, it's their fault." But you told them to do it.
Yeah.
If you're in marketing, and I never believe what they say because it's based on something that happened in the past, and just because it was good in the past doesn't mean it will be good in the future.
Right. Exactly. As a filmmaker, I think the most important thing is you do the best as you can and follow your heart from artistic side. Don't think too much about the audience to do something that you truly want to do. This is from my own experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of elements that go into it, and
Right.
everybody's going to have an opinion.
Yeah. And you're also an artist and sculptor and you play pianos. How did you develop those skills? You started as a hobby?
While other people were at the bar, I was practicing
Okay. How long have you been painting? And
before I could walk.
why do you say that?
Because it's true. I have photos of me as a baby. Before I can walk, I'm already drawing and painting. Because
Mhm.
I was left-handed, and then they uh, changed it to the right hand. A lot of kids had that in my generation because they thought that you should use the right hand.
Do you have any of your paintings with you? And you have a sculpture too?
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe you can send me that the sculpture as well.
sure, 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 sure.
Among all your skills and hobbies, so which one you like the most? You like the painting or like the sculpture or the piano or the movie?
I like them all. I also play guitar. I like it all. I enjoy it all. And the thing that I like about the movie is because I pull things together that way,
Okay.
and and it allows me to use all those different things that I've tried to develop in myself, and I enjoy that.
So talking about the movies, what is your plan, your future plan? What are the projects you're working on? You want to share with us?
I have projects that are set in the future, projects that are set in the past, and I just trying to get anybody interested so that it takes off, you know. And I've had some investment, but not enough to make the whole thing. So, you know, you try to get it moving and get different people involved. And some of them are very simple stories that are just shot like a traditional film, and some of them are very, very complex. And I'm also developing new technology. And I think a lot of the studios look at AI like it's going to do the job for them. And it's not like that. It can do some things very, very fast, but you still need the artist to guide where it's going. Or, you know, the machine will do anything it wants. And you know, so many softwares are saying they can do this and do that and make a movie, but it's not true yet. They may do it one day, but it's not true, certainly not true yet. So anything to be done has to be guided by the artist. And that's right now shot to shot to shot, because some of them have put things out to the public and said, oh, look, the software did all of this, and it's just not true. They used visual effects. You know, very few of them can get a character to repeat twice for a video. It just creates something else. Or during the shot, whatever is there changes into something else during the shot. So it's very promising. It just still has a long way to go.
So are you using some of the AI technologies in your movie right now?
Uh, yes, but I wouldn't say it's off the shelf. I'm combining some together to make something new.
Yeah, it definitely helped us, but like you said, the technology is not really that mature, and you still have to do the creation part of yourself. Yeah, I've
Mhm.
used the AI technology in my two movies that I made because it's a low budget movie, and I use that for some of the voice. But again, it's just a lack of the emotion of a
Mhm.
real human. Yeah. So let's hope that they will make improvements and hope to save the budget and also help with our future movies because right now the economic is not really that good since COVID. So we have
Mhm.
to cut our budget because everything changes. So we just have to compromise. And the AI technologies definitely helped. All right. Thanks for sharing with your story and thank you
Oh,
for spending time with us. So much for today. We'll see you next time. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Okay. You too. Bye bye. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye.